This is singles exchange. Let's talk, let's hang. This is singles exchange. Singles exchange.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back to Singles Exchange, a podcast that focuses on conversations, connections, and community. As always, I am your host, Joy J, and we are back with another exciting episode. Um, we're gonna dive right in, but of course, you know the drill. You've been here before, you've heard me say it. If you are a frequent exchanger, you've heard me say it a million times. But if not, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Singles Exchange on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and whatever your podcast streaming platform is. So, we're going to hop right into our topic. Um, this topic is a little bit more towards the spiritual side. So if that's not your thing, I'm asking you to hang in there with me anyway. I still think everybody can get something from this, and it is very transparent. It is not the topic that I intended to do, but God had other plans, so this is what we gonna do. So I'm asking you to rock and roll with me, even if, like I said, spirituality is not necessarily your thing. I think that you can still get some really good gems from this. And I try to be transparent with you guys all the time, but this one is gonna be a little more transparent than normal. So bear with me, okay? So I titled this podcast episode Waving the White Flag. And here's why. Um, if you are a frequent churchgoer, then you know that churches have been closed on and off since last year because of COVID. You know, of course, we're in a worldwide pandemic, everything changed. Um, so my church is just getting back into the swing of Sunday service. We haven't been doing anything during the week, no rehearsal, no Bible study, none of that. Um, we've only been coming into the building on Sunday, having that one service, and then going home. So, going into May, my pastor came and talked to me, and he was like, in May we're going to be doing these surrender services, and he was just talking about how we're going to be surrendering to God, giving up our will for his and allowing him to fully have control, because the reality is God has complete control anyway. But sometimes, and I know this is for me, maybe you're different, but for me, I'm a control freak, and I try to control things, and then I get frustrated when it doesn't look like what I want it to look like, but I'm not in control anyway. So he was giving me his whole vision behind it, and I was like, okay, this sounds really good, definitely sounds like something that I want to be a part of. And so he was like, well, I love for you to sit on one of the panel discussions. So we're going to have some worship. And then every week we're going to have like an open discussion about different things about surrendering. And I don't want to tell y'all the other days, if you live in the area, if you are in the Southern Illinois / St. Louis, Missouri area, feel free to inbox me and I will give you the info so that you can come. Of course, seating is limited, but that's neither here nor there. We can get you in. So if you are interested in the month of May and coming to one of these surrender services, inbox me on social media. Joy Deanne Johnson is my name, and you can find me there. So anyway, um, my pastor was like, yeah, we're gonna do these surrender services and we're gonna have worship at the beginning of each service. We're just gonna worship together, and then we're gonna go into these different panel discussions about different things. And of course, because of singles exchange, he asked me to sit on the panel for singles as a representative of surrendering to God in your season of singleness. So I was like, of course. Also, side note, Find you some leaders that will pour into you. I love my pastor. I want to publicly shout him out and thank him because he finds ways to pour into us. And I appreciate that. He actually pays attention. He's not one of those people that's just kind of like, yeah, they go to the church. I know she's sing and that's it. Like he actually pays attention to your gifting and he wants to pour into you. He wants to see your gifts grow. So find you some leaders like that. So anyway, I'm gonna get off that soapbox. But yeah, so my pastor asked me to do the panel and I'm like, sure, I love to do it, you know. And I sat down to do some writing because if you know me, you know that I don't like to like be thrown into stuff. I don't like last minute stuff. I like to have a plan or at least some thought. I know that things will change and you know you want to follow the flow, but I don't like to go up there completely blindsided. So even right now, I got some notes. Y'all know me. I keep a note. I write to note real good. So I sat down to write out, you know, some topics and some points that I felt like would be good. And as I was writing about living a surrender life, I had to stop and really ask myself, am I really surrendered? Like, I say I'm surrendering to God, but am I really surrendered? Or do I just not have a choice? Like, am I surrendered because this is what God told me? This is where you need to be. This is a season of life that you're in and you need to embrace it. Or am I single simply because I haven't found a match, quote unquote? Like, is that, you know, where I am? So, in that, it kind of took me on this thought process of getting back to my why. Why do I do what I do? Why do I do singles exchange? You know, why do I interact with you guys and put it because it's a lot of behind the scenes work. I've told you that before. Um, but I was talking about that and thinking to myself in my, you know, self-reflection of why do I do this? And, you know, am I really living a life where I am surrendered to what's happening, or am I going against the grain? Am I kicking and screaming and trying to change the fact that I'm single, or am I embracing my singleness until, you know, God's saying something else? So, in my thought process, it took me back to when Singles Exchange first started. If you've heard this story, just bear with me. I'm gonna make it as short as possible. But a couple of years before Singles Exchange began, my pastor asked me to be a more act to take on a more active role in the singles ministry. And I was like, no. I gave him the quickest no in history because I was like, well, you know, my initial excuse was I got too much on my plate. I don't have time. I had a full-time job. I was also at that time singing in a community choir, and I was the president of that choir. And, you know, with me living my life, still having friends and family and other things, and wanting to date, I felt like my life was already cluttered enough. And I didn't want to add anything to that. That was the excuse that I used, which I do think there's some validity in that. But the real truth was, in my brain, I was like, I don't even want to be single, let alone celebrate it by being in the singles ministry. So, no, I don't want to do that. And he didn't push it any further. He let it go. And then a year later, when I started the Singles Exchange hashtag for the sake of going to that singles event that we ended up going to, um, things took off. So literally, I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure I told you guys before exactly how Singles Exchange came to be, but my pastor wanted a bunch of the singles to go to Indianapolis for a singles event, and we went. Of course, like I said, I live in a Southern Illinois / St. Louis area, so it was a couple hours drive. But we, you know, packed up the van and we went. We had a great time. Um, And on the way back, we were just talking about how much fun we had and, what we would like to see as far as the singles ministry in our area and, some good events that we could put on. So, um we're on the van, we're talking, and literally as we are having this group conversation, God is just like downloading this whole big event into my life. Like in my brain, I see the whole thing happening. I know where it's going to be. I know who I want to ask to participate and what I want to ask them to do. Like, and I'm literally just like, okay. So I'm like taking notes. Like, y'all know I'm a note taker, like I said. So I'm writing notes. And I'm like, okay, God gave me this singles event. We're going to do it. It's going to be the bomb. And I'm gonna do this one little event because that's what God said do. He told me to do this event, and I'm gonna do this one little event, and I'm gonna let it go because I don't want to do singles ministry. This is still my mindset. So, shortly thereafter, after getting several whoopings, I was like, okay, singles exchange is becoming its own thing. So, let me go ahead and create a separate page. Like I was doing this stuff, but I was kind of dragging my feet with it. Like I was doing it, but I didn't want to do it because, like I said, I did not want to be single. Um, and I'll be very transparent. The last serious relationship that I was in ended in December of 2013. So at this point, it's been what, 8 years? Well, it's coming up on 8 years. So, well, that's right now. But back then, when singles exchange began, it had been 6 years. So again, I'm like, Lord, I've been single for 6 years. I'm not trying to be single. I'm not trying to do this single stuff. I'm out here trying to be somebody, boo. So, I started singles exchange, but like I said, I was dragging my feet, and I prayed about it, and so many people had come to me like, I'll help you, whatever you need me to do. If there's any way I can help you. Tamika was like, you need some branding options. So she came up with the logo and some marketing tips for me. And shout out to her and everybody else who encouraged me when I didn't want to do it. And I was just like, okay, so this is gonna be a thing, and we'll see how it goes. Honest to God, I figured that singles exchange was gonna be something fun, that we may have an event once or twice. And I thought that it would just taper off after like 6 months. Like I thought it would just be something that popped up in my memories, a year down the line. And I'd be like, remember that was a fun 6 month. That was a cute little run. Um, I never, never, ever, ever would have expected it to have grown to what it is. I never would have expected to be doing a podcast for it. Like there's a lot of things, and I see the future of singles exchange, and I never would have seen those things in the future either. Like that's not what I saw. Partially because that's not what I wanted to see. I didn't want to do singles ministry. I was not on board for celebrating singleness or whatever. Like in my brain, and this is again, I'm being totally transparent with y'all. I was like, I'm gonna do this for a few months, but I plan to be booed up by the end of the year. And ain't nobody gonna want to listen to me talk about being single if I'm not single. So woo. That's what I thought. And like I said, it got up and running. And when I hit the 6 month mark, I was like, okay, this is still going strong. A lot stronger than what I thought. But I'm also still very single. So, we in it. Let's do it. Um, and probably right at the 1 year mark. At that point, we were right smack in the thick of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I welcomed it. I welcomed it as a distraction. not that I didn't enjoy doing it, because at that point I was like, okay, it's time to get this staff on board because I can't do this all by myself. And God is showing me where Singles Exchange is going to expand. And I'm grateful because, like I said, this was not even something that I prayed about or had any desire to do. And God had already opened so many doors for me with Singles Exchange speaking engagements and like just stuff that I never dreamed or imagined that I would be doing. Um, and I was very grateful. So I was like, well, we in a pandemic anyway, so I'm still real single, and we in here, like we in here, and we gonna ride this thing out. Cause I kicked and screamed about it, and God kept making provision for it, even though I complained. So I'm gonna stop complaining about it, and I'm gonna embrace it, and I'm gonna do what I was called to do in this season. So I was like, okay, cool. We rocking, we rolling. Like I said, we right smack in the middle of a pandemic. So, God said, let's expand, let's do a podcast. And I was like, cool, we got all the time in the world. Ain't no church open. Ain't no work for real because I'm at home. Like, I'm not traveling, I'm not doing anything. So why not? You know? So fast forward to here we are today. We are at the very beginning of May 2021, which means that Singles Exchange has been up and running for 2 full years now. The podcast will celebrate its 1 year anniversary in a month. And it's like, yay, like it's so exciting, right? And even now, I'm like, am I still surrendered to it? Like, I'm doing Singles Exchange because at this point it's my business, it's my brand. Um, but am I doing Singles Exchange stuff and then still crying to God about why am I still single? Like, that's my truth. Because I had a friend, and this is where my notes take a turn, so bear with me. A few months ago, a friend messaged me literally out the blue and was like, I just want to know how you doing it. And I was like, huh? And she was like, how you doing it? Like, how are you out here encouraging other people in their singleness and staying encouraged yourself? And I was like, girl, sometimes I'm not doing it. Like, can I be honest? There are days when I'm like, singleness is great, and you get to do what you want and go where you want, and you don't have to answer to anybody, and you have the freedom to do this and that, and blah blah blah. And then there are other days when I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm almost 32. Where this husband at? So we can have these kids and live happily ever after and ride off into the sunset. Like, what we waiting on? Because if you want to know my timeline, I would have been married at 23 or 24. Like, what we doing? And that's just my reality. That's where I'm at. Like I said, sometimes I'm all for it, and then there are other times when I'm in my feelings. And I hope that somebody out there can relate to me. I hope that I'm not just talking to these four walls because it's real. Um, when I see people entering relationships, because, we get on Facebook, we see that subtle such and such is now in a relationship. Oh, don't let them put their boo in the status. Like, sometimes you just change a relationship status and it say in a relationship, or it could say in a relationship with so and so. Ooh, listen, I'm living in my truth. I just text two of my friends today with a screenshot of somebody in their new relationship, and I was like, listen, y'all, I see what God is doing for others. And I just want some drops to fall on me, okay? I have a friend that I always say, he's in the neighborhood. And that's what happens. When I see somebody in a relationship, it's like these two voices. So there's this one voice that's like the angel voice that's like, Oh, I'm so happy for them. Everybody deserves love. This is what we pray for here at Singles Exchange. We pray that people make, connections that, fills their love tank and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is what I've been praying for. Like I said, I be calling my friend, like, girl, such and such in a relationship. Clearly, God is on my road. He on my street. He in the neighborhood. We kiki, we laugh, we talk about it, whatever. That's the angel side. Then this side, this little devil over here, that be sitting on that left shoulder, and he be saying, you done seen four different people get in a relationship just this week, so must not be for you. And I be like, I be trying to shut up, devil, be quiet, leave me alone. But sometimes he slip in, and it's easy to fall into that comparison of, man, when is it gonna be my turn? Like, I'm happy for you, I don't want yours, I just want my own. So that's what I be dealing with. And I'll be honest, because going back to what I was saying earlier, when my pastor was telling me about this panel and some points that he wanted to discuss, one of the things that he was big on was talking about how singles tend to try to wait until they're in a relationship to do things. And I'm not as bad now as I once was, but I guilty, like very guilty. I used to purposely skip out on certain events because I don't want to be the only friend that's there without a boo. Like, I don't want to be sitting here with all of y'all booed up and I'm sitting here looking how I'm looking. Um I literally I told one of my single friends this when I was in my feelings and just really needed to vent. I was like, there are times when, I go out with my friends and they all with their booze, and I feel like I'm at the kids table. Like, I literally feel like y'all put me at the kids. Even though I'm sitting here with y'all, I feel like the kid, the little sister that got forced to tag along. Um, y'all know. I am not an older sibling. I am the baby of my siblings. But for anybody who has younger siblings, y'all know how it feels when your mama say you gotta take your little brother or you gotta take your little sister or you can't go. And that's what I be feeling like. So, and it's not that they doing anything. My friends, thank God for all of my friends. My friends do not make me feel any type of way. It's just me. Like, that's just what I be feeling sometimes. So, um, there are things that I have skipped out on, and I'm learning to not do that. I also have skipped out on events because, again, this is me being transparent and giving y'all my tea. Um, my friends tried to set me up with a mutual friend, and he was not interested, but my friends kept trying to set me up with said friend. And if you know, you know. If you don't know, it's not that deep. But for those of you that do know, if you were ever around all of us, it was very awkward. And I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to go to an event and it's like awkward. So I would stop going to certain things because I don't feel like being awkward today. I don't feel like having to push through this uncomfortable tension just to hang out. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, things just went left. Like I said, if you know, you know, and if you whether you know or not, just pray. But yeah, so my friend tried to set me up, and it was very awkward on several occasions at several events. And so I kind of took a step back from hanging with the homies because it was awkward and I didn't like it. But this year, I have vowed not to do that, which I'm gonna circle back around to that at the end. But anyway, so moving on, because I was getting ready to go on a tangent, but I'm not going to do it. I feel like there are days when I'm still not submitted, where I'm still not surrendered. Like, I know that God don't need my help. Anybody who knows God or was raised in church and listened even a little bit knows that God does not need our help to do anything. He doesn't need my help to bring me a guy or to bring a guy to me or to put us on the right path. Like, God doesn't need us to do it. Um, he's already walked out all the days of our lives. He knows when the timing is right. He knows when we're ready, and XYZ. The list goes on. So, um, that should be comforting. That should help me to live a surrendered life. That should help me to wave the white flag, like I said before, and not be so caught up on, meeting a guy or going on a date, or, that should help me with that. But can I be honest with y'all? It kind of does the opposite. Sometimes it's comforting to say, God knows that He gonna bring the right person at the right time. And other times it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Am I not pretty enough? Am I fat? Too fat? Because, you know, right now the trend is everybody like big girls. But um is it just not meant to happen for me? Like, these are the thoughts that I try to suppress, that I try to push down or deny, but they come up every now and again. And listen, I dare one of y'all to lie and say that y'all have never had them thoughts too. Anybody who was single for a substantial amount of time has probably felt like, maybe it's me. Um, and that's what I struggle with. And so I was being honest with God, and I was like, Lord, what am I doing wrong? Like, what's wrong with me that everybody else out here finding they love and finding they boo thing, finding love in a hopeless place, as Rihanna said. Everybody else is out here doing what I want to do, and it's not happening for me. And clear as day, God was like, you keep putting it back on you. It's not up to you. It's up to me. And I was like, I don't know if God talked to y'all the way He talks to me, okay? But God be snapping at me, and I just be like, okay, Lord, I was just playing. Like, you don't even have to yell at me like that. But yeah, God was like, you keep putting it back on you, and it's not for you. It's up to me when your time will come, and when your boo will come, and when you get married, and when you have kids. You're not on your own timeline. You told me that you would live a surrendered life. And if you surrender, you gave up control. And I was like, you right. You right, Lord. So that is where I am. So now I am trying to wave the white flag for real. They wave the white flag in movies and stuff when they're surrendering, and cartoons, and they kind of like make it laughable and cute and funny. But I'm waving the white flag, and it's not easy because I want things to go a certain way. I want to date now. I want to be, and that's me. I be like, Lord, I ain't even got to get married right now. Can I just start dating? And I literally feel like God is shutting doors, and I'm just like, but I'm trying. Like, I'm trying, and I know that when it's the right time and the right person, it's not going to be this complicated or this hard, and it'll happen at the rate that God wants it to happen at. But can I be real with y'all? It's not easy. So I'm learning to wave the white flag and truly surrender and embrace my season of singleness. Um, and that's not to say that my season of singleness has been all bad, because I've had great times in my season of singleness. I have traveled, I've made new friends, I have learned some new things about God, learned some new things about myself. I have changed my wardrobe. I have shopped when I wanted to, which is often. I have, ate what I wanted to. Like I've been out here. I bought a new car. Like I'm out here living the dream for real. And it's just like that one thing. So I'm choosing to wave my white flag, and I'm choosing to live my life to the fullest for real. I'm not gonna wait for a guy to come along to do things that I want to do. I'm not gonna skip out on hanging with my friends for lack of a boo, or for feeling like, I don't want to watch y'all be booed up. And I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm not gonna have an attitude with God about me being single. And I'm gonna live my best life. So if you're still listening, and if you're anything like me and you've struggled with your season of singleness, I am challenging you to wave the white flag with me. Do me a favor. If you listen to this and you made it to the end, and you waving your white flag, just hashtag singles exchange and then hashtag waving my flag, and let me know. Let me know that you out here with me. And we gonna stand together and we gonna wave our flag together. And we are going to enjoy single life until it changes. So that's all I got. I hope my transparency has helped somebody. And even if it's just to help you understand that you're not alone, that other single people are out here feeling what you feel, struggling with what you're struggling with, and letting you know that you can get through it. There is light, even in this season of singleness. So that's all I got. I'm gonna get off of here. I love y'all to pieces. Thank y'all for always rocking with Singles Exchange. We got some good stuff in the works. I keep saying it, but I keep saying it because it's real and because I mean it. So be on the lookout, and I will talk to y'all soon. Let's exchange.